Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the last document creation that we're going to do. In this case, we're going to use the application called Google Forms, and we're going to start at the same place. We're going to go to New, we're going to go to More, and we're going to go to Google Forms. All right. But before you click Google Forms, I want you to go to this little arrow and click to the side, and it says blank form or from a template. And I'm going to go from a template, and I'd like you to do the same. Okay. Now you have a myriad of options here, and you can scroll down and look, and if you need to pause the video while you do that, that's fine. I'll scroll a little bit, but it'll be quick. And there's a lot of things you can do with forms. But for today, we're going to keep it pretty simple, and we're going to use it as a quiz. So I'd like you to select blank quiz. Now I've already selected blank quiz, so I'm going to go over to mine, and we'll go from there. So I'm actually going to close this one, and I'm going to bring up what I've made. Here we are. So you'll notice a couple things. Forms has a already preset question scenario ready to go. It also has some pieces of information that you need to fill in. You may find up here that it's called blank quiz. I'd rather you rename that to assignment 8. That way it's easy for me to find that you completed it. The other thing down here, it says class action quiz. Um, I changed that because I believe that said assignment 8 as well when I changed it up here. So I changed that to what my actual quiz is going to be called. Sometimes they default to each other. If you change one, it automatically goes to the other. And then I put a little description in because they give you that option, and I just called it chapter 1. Again, that's just made up. Is it chapter 1? No, it's just a chapter. So that's the gist of the beginning of it. Let's talk about decorating it before we get into other details. So you can do colors in the background here. It's only going to go to the top up in this area. So if I change it to blue, it's going to change it to blue. Doesn't look like much of a big change, does it? Let's go orange. There you go. Now you can really see it. Or you can upload a picture. All right. And they have some preset ones, or you can upload your own photo. Just be careful because if you upload your own photo, it has certain specifications that need to be met. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna find one that works for me, and I'm gonna pause this video and then I'll show you what I. Okay, I chose a little theme in the background like a book, so it looks like it's a little legal like scenario. And so then we're gonna come down here to the question. You're gonna see it's probably blank for you. There's a question title you can throw in here, and then it probably says option 1 for you. I've already added my options in. To add more options in after you type your first option in, whatever you want it to be, and I just made a question up. It's multiple choice. Um, and then I put 3 options based on that table that I created back in my sheet that I created. So you can make your quiz whatever you want. I prefer you put in a 5-question quiz to test your kids' abilities on the topics you're teaching in this particular unit that you're making for this. You can do multiple choice. There are other types of questions you can make. There's check boxes, drop downs. You can file upload some. I'm not going to go into that again. That's a more advanced thing that I would do in an advanced Google presentation. So I'm going to keep it short and simple here, okay? So back to the questions at hand. You can type your question out. You can type your 3 answers. And then at the bottom, there's an option for an answer key. If you click on that, you can select the correct answer. You can also give it a certain amount of points. So maybe I want each question to be worth 2 points. And you can also provide add answer feedback and tell them the right answer if they get it wrong. I'm done. I'm going to go back to edit question because that takes me back to the regular view, and now it's all set. You can also reorder the question answers if you want, but it still keeps the right answer over here. You can also add pictures to represent them if you want. And that goes really far as well, as far as students and visually identifying with the correct answer. So that's adding a question. Let's say you wanted to ask a similar question like which industry had the lowest percentage of class action suits. All I would do is I would duplicate the question like so. I clicked on that duplication button, and then I would change this to lowest. And then I would go in and check my answer key, and I would obviously change the correct answer to, I think it was farming, and take drug companies off. And then I have my second question made already, and all I had to do was change one word and click a couple buttons. And then I'll go back to edit question, and now I have two questions already, and it took me, no time at all. So those are some things to think about when you're adding your questions in. A couple other features you're going to want to be aware of. If you just want to add another question but change the type, you can do that right here. That's the plus symbol right here. There's also some title and description things you can add. Maybe you're going to have a new section of questions and you want to give it a title and description in between. That's something you can do. You can also add a video and ask a question based on the video. Or maybe it's one of those videos you had during the series that you've made, and you can truncate the video or shrink it to be just the file that you want them to see. So that's something else you can do. Again, these are just things I'm showing you. You do not have to add these pieces of information, but if you want to, you can. The final thing over here, you can add a section all by itself, and that kind of sections everything off. You can do that with this, or you can do it with just adding a title and a description. It's kind of up to you. All right. So among the other things, if you continue to work in this space, we're going to also look at responses. So I'm going to pause for a second. If you want to pause too, give yourself some time to make those questions, then we'll talk about responses. Okay, we're ready for responses, but before I say anything about responses, one of the things you're going to want to consider is, do I include a question that includes their name? In this case, I'm just looking for feedback from the class about how they're doing, so I don't really care who answers what. I just want to see who's getting, or how many people are getting it right versus how many people are off. Okay, so that's something you're going to want to consider. Most of the quizzes, I won't say all, but most of the quizzes I do include a box with a short answer where they have to put their name in. Okay, and I usually make it worth a point because sometimes they forget. You can also make that required. I suppose I should come down here. There we go. You can make it required using this little feature right here, and that will make them have to answer it before they can submit their thing. You'll notice as in this view, in the larger view, that the bars to add questions and that all move to the side when it's in full view. And I want to go to full view because I want you to see the responses easier. So let's talk responses too. I went in and I previewed my quiz. So when it's in a big view, there's a preview option here, and you can actually take your quiz, and that's why I have a response, because I've taken my quiz. So I went preview, it brings this up, and I clicked farming and farming, pretending like I'm that kid that answers the same on everything, hoping I get at least 50% right. And now I'm going to have two responses because I submitted again. It's taking a while. I'll pause till. Okay, my one response is still there. We're going to go check it out. One of the things you'll want to realize, or that students can realize, is that they can see the results on the other end of things, on the other side of the quiz when they're finished, if you want to make that available. Some of the things that you can change, there's a settings box here that allows you to limit one response. They can edit after they submit. Sometimes that's a good thing. It just depends on the type of quiz. There's also the presentation style of it. Do you want to show a progress bar? Do you want to shuffle the question order? You can do that manually too. And then there's some quiz options, like this is already a quiz, so it's already got that checked. But there's also some things that you can show them as well that respondents can see, like missed questions, correct answers, point values. Okay, just wanted to throw that out there before I get to responses. Okay, responses, what you've all been waiting for. Sorry, there's a problem with this file. Please reload. All right, I'm going to. Sorry about the hesitation. My internet decided to kick me off there for a moment. We're back on and ready to go. And we're in the responses tab. You notice I flipped from questions to responses tab, and I can see what everybody has done here. The one thing, there's a summary that starts this whole scenario, and you can see everything summary-wise and based on per question. All right, you can see that based on responses, 50% have been right. You can see it per the question, so in this case, nobody's got this question right. And then if you want to see the next question, you can see how many people got that right. 2 out of 2. Okay, that's a good sign. And then if you want to see it per the individual, so if you had them give their names, you could see each individual's quiz. And it would have a name up here if we had that question available. It would be the first thing up here. And then you could sort through them. There's only one response, so there's only one thing to see. Another thing you can do to see responses, you can create a spreadsheet. I'm not going to force you to do this, but I would like you to do it. You don't have to submit it, but I would like you to do it for your own knowledge and create so you can see what it looks like in a spreadsheet format. And you can see, you can break down easily in this area too, what the answers were and who's missing what. And it's really a neat tool to use to analyze if one question over the other was a good question, or if a lot of kids missed it, you need to go back and reteach. Okay, so Forms is a really, really nice tool, and it provides you with a lot of quick feedback. I'm going to go back here, go back to questions, and that's basically the layout of Forms. There's a few more tools. There's some add-ons in here too. Um, I'm not going to go into add-ons or anything with this tool in particular this time. I'm going to save that for my advanced course. And if there's anything else you guys want to know, just remember there's some other settings back here that you can give kids options to do when they're taking the quiz. And other than that, this is the last assignment I'm going to have you do as far as looking at an app. The only other thing you're going to have, and that is next, is your weapon of mass education. And I'll have another video ready to give you more details on what I want that final document to look like. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the class thus far. I look forward to putting a finishing touch on it. Have a good day.